So basically, everything's up in the air right now, and the only people who are earning money are the lawyers. Right? Is that a good summary of the situation? Everything's frozen, shut down, and the problem is people's lives don't shut down. I haven't even announced what we're doing today. I mean, you could look at the title, but we are doing a fundraiser. We haven't done a fundraiser in, it feels like almost a year, like since when I started and I did the fundraiser for Palestinian children. So this one, it's a little less controversial, hopefully. I will, for those who don't know, I'll be telling you a little about the Artesian Builds kind of situation. I was so divided. If you guys watched my stream the other day on the Artesian thing, like you guys heard me, I was so divided on the situation where I understood the CEO up and I'd had mixed experiences with the company, but at the same time I also knew people who worked there who were like amazing, and I was really happy at the end of the day with my computer. Like I really love my computer. It just really sucks. It sucks that they have to go through something that had nothing to do with them. None of this controversy had to do with like them doing a bad job. This all had to do with something that the CEO did, and it just sucks that they're having to bear the brunt of it. Now, I have heard, I just found this out because I want to be totally transparent. I have heard that the CEO, whose name is Noah Katz, that his income was also frozen. I don't know how true that is. That's just what I heard. Because I've been kind of talking to a lot of employees, but there's a lot of information that's kind of mixed. So take everything that I say today with like a grain of salt. Because again, this just happened basically last night, like in the morning. I was talking to employees like right before they fell asleep when they had just found out, and they were just kind of like in shock because they're just in a shitty situation. It sucks. I don't know if anyone here has been laid off before. Okay, I got laid off once from a vegetarian hipster restaurant. It went bankrupt because I don't know, like no one was buying vegetarian hipster food in the 2010s. It fucking sucked. Like it was so overwhelming. And what sucks about getting laid off with a big group of people is now you have to compete with the other big group of people for jobs. Like it's so much harder to find a job during a layoff compared to just being an individual that was like fired in a situation, because now you're in this whole pool of other people who are all looking for jobs, and it means that all the employers have the upper hand on you and stuff. And it just, it's really shitty. Confirmed by lawyer, he said Noah's pay is frozen also. Oh, okay. Yeah, so apparently that is confirmed. I do think I have a screenshot. I'll provide what clarity I can. I'm sorry I don't have more to add. The company has counsel that specializes in this type of stuff, not me, providing the direction. I don't know who made this post, by the way. They need to complete their work and tell the company what the appropriate steps are to do in this situation. For now, everything is frozen on their direction, including all payroll. Yes, that includes Noah's payroll as well. I think that's a good thing for employees to know that like he's also in a similar position, though. I mean, he's still the CEO, so who knows how true that is, but we'll see. No money moves without their direction, and likely until they complete their analysis. Once that's done, depending on what transpires in the interim and what they recommend, the company could resume operations, or it may remain shut down and just have to be dissolved. So basically, everything's up in the air right now, and the only people who are earning money are the lawyers. Right? Is that a good summary of the situation? Back. Everything's frozen, shut down, and the problem is people's lives don't fucking shut down. Like, they still have to pay their rent, they still have food to put on their table. I don't know if some of them have families to support, or maybe they had an important bill they had to pay. And I know that there were some people on Twitter that were saying thankfully very few, most people were very supportive, but some people are saying companies fall all the time, like people should have saved. It's like, bro, not everyone's in a position that they can do savings, especially in times like this. I don't know, like just because someone wasn't in a position to save doesn't mean that they should just be like in trouble because of something that they didn't do. I don't know. To me, like this is one thing you can do to help, and why not? So basically, this is like the theory, I guess, of why the company started being in trouble. So you guys know when the PR disaster happened, it was like everyone just started canceling their orders just immediately. And I think it just caused like this huge financial issue. Like cash flow in a business like PC building is everything. So I imagine it just caused a huge problem. Sucks what happened to the good people in that company. Hope they can overcome this. Yeah, it just sucks. Like, it just always feels like this. Like when a CEO or like the top of a company fucks up, I don't know, the employees just always get the shitty end of the stick. There's this old thing like with in naval history. And with the start of like a navy, that the captain always goes down the ship. Now, I'm not saying I want Noah to go down, okay? It just sucks on average. The reason why they had that rule is because just on average, like the people who were higher class or like the nobles and stuff, like they would always be able to get off the ship first. And so it was kind of like a response to that. And it just sucks like how often it ends up being like the little people that get kind of screwed. You know what's really annoying? I'm going to show you a post by one of the employees. I'm not going to say who their name is. And to be 100% honest with you, I feel pretty disappointed in all those influencers who got invested in the situation about Kia Pia and now are silent even though people's livelihoods are on the line. Some people might not have money for food this month. That's something that like really struck a chord with me because I feel like 100%. I think anyone who's ever been bullied or has been a small content creator and was looked down about that, I think we all just, our hearts went out to Kia Pia for watching how Noah talked about her and just like how humiliating that situation was. But like we're talking about something like someone not getting a PC versus people not getting their livelihood and people's like lives just completely destroyed and all their plans just out the window. I do find it interesting how quiet a lot of influencers have been about this. And that's why for the influencers who did speak up, like Cypher, like that meant a lot. And it's been really frustrating to watch how many people just got involved when, I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. Like maybe some of those people haven't woken up yet and they haven't noticed. But I really hope that they do some contributions and just kind of put their money where their mouth is, because that's been very frustrating. Do you feel like any of these critics are being opportunistic here, swooping in as the good guy to offer PCs and such? Not saying it's not, of course, a net benefit, but something that sits at the back of my mind is on them. Yes, 100%. I completely agree with you. I think you will really see kind of like the good actors versus the bad actors today, or like just this week when we see like who helps out the employees versus who were just kind of excited for an easy PR opportunity during the Kia Pia situation. So like I think that's where we'll really see, you know, who actually really kind of cared. Yeah, motives are always mixed for streamers. Always, right? Even I'm getting a benefit as I'm doing the stream right now. Like in terms of, you know, like getting new followers, etc. At the end of the day, no good deed is going to have like purely altruistic purposes. But you just want the majority of it to be there, right?
Subscribe for more as always. You can go to store.gamers.
Ember, you ready to chat?
Hey.
Hey, nice to finally get to talk to you in VC.
I can't hear you. Give me a moment. You know how Discord be. There we go. Fix.
Hey. Okay,
Hey.
so let's just check the audio is working. Can everyone hear Ember's right?
Hello. My name is Ember.
Cool. Okay. He's a bit loud. Okay, let me make it a little lower.
Loud? Yes, I get that often. It's not just in Discord.
Okay, so I guess before we get into all like, you know, the dirty gossip and stuff, what did you do for Artesian, and when did you work for them?
So that's actually a very interesting question. So let's just start with the simple question of when did I start working for them? I was actually originally an ambassador for them as early as May of 2020. So quite literally almost 2 years ago now. From there, being in the streaming industry like I was, talking to people, I stayed with them for a year while also working IRL. And then about a year later, about quite literally a month from now, in April, would have been my 1 year of officially working with Artesian. So 11 months is how long I was with Artesian for, officially being paid. What did I do?
Mm.
I was never officially given the title of community manager, which is kind of interesting considering my main goal or my main job was to interact with our ambassadors, our partners, say hello, create that connection with people.
Yeah.
And I tried my best to connect with people. I was in charge of taking care of Twitter DMs and just kind of, getting the communications done between customers, between ambassadors, and the business. And when things went down, is I was on the front lines with zero information.
I can only imagine how hard it was for you, right? Because you're probably the one that, yeah, you're literally on the front line. Like, you have to answer all the things, like, for what Noah did.
Yes, and as soon as I heard it going, I knew, unfortunately, as much as I trust the people, the staff that were behind me, that were with me, and we worked together, I had trust in their abilities. But I knew when that was going down, that was the end of Artesian Builds. Noah alone destroyed a name in under a week.
So, you really thought, like, in that moment, you knew that it was just going under? Like, why? Like,
Yep.
what were the top thing? What were the main reasons why you just
Well,
immediately felt that way?
when it comes to a business failing, rarely is it ever one event or one thing that truly takes them down. Generally, it's a culmination of a lot of small factors set off by a big boom. And well, let's just say Noah took the gasoline, shook it out a little bit, lit the match, and dropped it and walked away, is the best way to equate that. And the reason being is because this I actually learned about a day ago from an outside source that earlier on in my employment, I don't know the exact time frame, but they didn't have enough money to pay for payroll. But you know what? They had some people from the company, higher ups, pitch in to help pay that off, so everyone was paid. Now here's the kicker. I didn't know about that payroll issue until recently. And I also learned that even after that issue, not a week later, Noah bought a Tesla.
Oh no. Okay, because I saw that everyone was talking about like that BMW, but I'm pretty sure that was a rental. But I knew he bought a
The
Tesla.
the BMW was a rental. The Tesla was bought.
Those are expensive.
And those are fine.
Yeah.
I will just say this. How much he paid for that Tesla could have paid for 4, 5, maybe 6 employees for a year.
Wow. Ouch.
Yes. And on top of that, there was a lot of gaslighting being done by Noah. And unfortunately, me being from where I'm from, I'm used to recognizing it and playing around it. And a lot of these employees, they saw these issues, but a lot of people know this problem. You get into a company, they pay you well, right? Then you have bills, and there's nowhere else to go. So you're kind of stuck making ends meet until something better comes along. And that's a little rough, especially when a lot of the employees are remote. A lot of employees are remote. We have some in the UK. We have some. We had some in Canada.
Do you know? Is this weird to ask? Like,
go ahead.
Yeah, and feel free. Like, if it's too weird to ask, like, what on average, what did an employee make?
I can tell you, I made as much as a McDonald's worker up until the start of this year.
Okay, so basically, like minimum wage.
I can openly say I made $15 an hour up until the start of this year.
Okay, so do you think that was what other people were making, or is like I'm assuming everyone's keeping their salary secret?
Yeah, a lot of people don't really want to. Yeah, a lot of people are scared. But the one thing the NDA does not cover, whether you signed it or not, is your pay. You are actually free to discuss it. And as
Oh,
well is if they did not provide compensation when you signed that NDA, it is invalid. So I'm not scared for two reasons. One, they made me sign an NDA without compensation, and two, I never technically put my legal name on the documentation. As you guys know, I am trans, so
mhm.
I didn't put my dead legal name on there. So, yeah, technically it's not even valid to begin with.
Well, that's interesting. The it's how did you feel like? How did he treat his employees like on average? Like, were there problems before this? I'm assuming there was
Yes,
already like a
yes,
weird environment.
yes. No, Noah was manipulative. Noah is manipulative. Whatever. So when you're doing good, this is what I tell people. When you're doing good, people want to hear it. When people are doing bad, they don't want to hear it,
Hmm.
right? The only time we heard from Noah was when things were bad, and when things were right, guess who did a good job? Noah did. Noah did a good job, right? The ambassador giveaway, all the lists that were made, whatnot. When originally crafting it, given the original, hey, you only need an ambassador, he tried making the claim that he set this up, the lists, the backbones. I spent 4 hours a day setting that stuff up,
So you never felt
making
like
sure
he
it.
was giving kudos to his employees, which is
No,
like
he
an
didn't. He
important
didn't
part of
give
running a
kudos.
company.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And the worst part is he actually ended up using a business. Um, Candy Berry. You saw all those awesome wraps, right?
Hmm.
Buddha, Fang Rush, Huskers, they did those wraps. They made the GPU backplates. The GPU backplates that are the better ones that
Wait, were they
shine
the
bright.
location in Canada?
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay, so that was the company that had started to refuse to work with them. That's what I was told. Kind of
Yes.
when my
Yes,
GPU
they did.
backplate when it, yeah, that's really interesting.
Well, here's the thing. Your stuff, a lot of people's stuff was completed, wrapped, and done. But because because Artesian Noah didn't have the GPU supply, didn't have the parts, he passed the blame on to them, being like, "Oh, hey, your custom part isn't ready," right? Because who wants to admit that they don't have the supply to build something they promised you, right?
Holy shit.
What's the better playoff? We don't have stock and GPUs, or hey, your custom artwork is taking a little longer. What sounds
Wait.
better,
Oh
right?
my god, I feel like such a, it's okay. So it turned out that that was the reason why they kept pushing it months and months. Like, was
Yes.
they just didn't have the
Yes.
GPU?
They didn't have stock in a lot of things.
That is so crazy because the reason why I went to them, like one of the main reasons why I went to Artesian, was because I knew that stock issues with GPUs were a challenge, like at the time. I mean, they still kind of are. And and they always talked about, Noah always talked about having all these GPUs on stock. And I was like, okay, I'm going to pay a bit of a premium to make sure that
Right.
it, like, I get it and I get it on time and I don't have to go through the whole hassle.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, since we're talking about this, as you know already, I moved over to that company. I have become their director of marketing and sales because, I want to make sure that Artesian doesn't leave another person in the company rotting. Um, so I'm doing my part, and they're actually helping contribute in some way, um, in a few ways actually. So first off, anybody who donates to the fundraiser will be entered into a giveaway where we're willing
Oh,
to
that's
give away
awesome.
3 wrapped computer cases, with a re-roll design. Um,
That's amazing.
I'm yeah, we're trying our best to put our work out there, but also help the people that were screwed. And on top of that, if you also want to get a custom backplate as well, we'll do a custom backplate, GPU backplate. And if you don't want the GPU backplate, that's fine. We'll give $100 credit as well.
Oh, that's really
And
nice.
Yes, and we're also looking at percentages and sales. We don't know the definitives yet, as this is all kind of really quick. Um, all sale part of sales, all of that will go towards Artesian employees. A good portion of sales done on the website in the next few days will be putting towards the Artesian employees. While this company may be a competitor of Artesian, there is nothing bad held towards the staff. A lot of them were manipulated, used by Noah, and a lot of information was hidden. A lot of it wasn't said because when you have knowledge is power, and when you have the knowledge, you have the power, and that's what he used.
So why didn't one of the things that I really wondered was like with the GPU situation. Sorry, with the GPU, the cover, because sorry, the backplate. I'm new to all these terms.
You're good.
But
You're good.
one of the problems like with that I just didn't understand was because I have a few friends that are designers, and they would tell me like, so what's up with your computer? You're waiting, you keep waiting and waiting and waiting, and every week I would say I would hear next week, maybe next week, maybe next week, and they kept saying, I don't understand. It's really easy to get this done. Like, it's not that crazy to like print. I mean, I don't know the logistics of how you print on a GPU and stuff, but they told me it wasn't that crazy. And it shouldn't be taking like 4 months. Like that was just
Without
totally
no,
nuts.
it shouldn't. No, that's the thing. The wild thing. So one thing that is to note about our difference with GPU backplates is our company has specialized technology that plugs straight into the motherboard. In fact, they're an MSI vendor. So
Oh, that's
if you
cool.
get if you get an MSI case, they have a plugin or they have the technological capability where the GPU backplate LEDs and everything plug into the case as well. So these aren't like your other company backplates. These are patented type deal. They're specialized. They're better. They have side firing LEDs that make them brighter, more vibrant. But even then, it's not going to take 4 months. The longest time is design time. And then second comes in the time to schedule between the build. Actually doing it does not take that long.
Yeah, because I actually had one of my designers just fully do the design and then just send it off.
Yeah,
So
if you
that's
have a
why I thought it
design
would be.
done,
Yeah, I thought it
easily.
would be done really quickly, and it just ended up, yeah, taking forever. The worst part was at the end, when I was speaking to Noah, like he said, because I was kind of annoyed that you couldn't see the GPU in my build afterwards, like the GPU
Mm-hmm.
backplate, when I'd waited so long for that backplate.
Right.
And he told me, oh well, the GPU backplate is, we shouldn't even put it in your build because it's just going to make your GPU run worse. And I was like, wait, as someone that knows nothing about computers, and I went to them because they're the experts, right? Like,
Let me tell you.
why wasn't I told, right? Like that I shouldn't have a GPU backplate for that build, right? Like, why wasn't I like,
Right.
I should have been advised
Noah.
that before I paid for it.
So the key difference between Artesian and this new company, um, Noah never had a degree in computer science or computer building. The owner of this business does.
Well, I think that's cool. Do you know why they didn't, like, I mean, I totally understand everyone was having trouble finding GPUs. There's been a huge shortage of parts in general. Like, this is something that not just Artesian had, like tons of companies have had issues with the parts. So why didn't they just say like put it when I was on the order form? Why didn't they just say, sorry, we're out of these GPUs? Right? Like, or like, sorry, there's a
They,
waiting
they,
list. We can't take your order for a few months. Like, plenty of companies do that.
they You assume Noah knows how to run a business and talk to people.
But he doesn't even need to have people, like, he doesn't even need to have the skill on how to talk to people. Like, it would make sense for him to be like, okay, obviously we can't do this, so I just need to hire someone specifically that's good at this, right?
Yeah,
Like, why didn't,
the reasoning is 5 letters long and ends in Y. Money.
that's just, I don't know, it's just unfortunate because like they're just, especially with smaller companies, like I mean, having inventory, I know it's a huge issue, and so I totally would have understood that, like, you know, they're having a hard time getting in that build, getting in, or getting in these parts, etc. It's just like I wouldn't have been upset with them. But it definitely, I was very frustrated that I couldn't, that they allowed me to make an order, told me that it would take like a month, and then yeah, and
It
then it
took
just
4.
kept, then it took like 4 months. Um, the and then all, and it turns out that all the blame was put on like this Canadian design company, and it turned out that wasn't even like,
It
that's so
wasn't.
funny.
It's not the case. No, Noah was, like I said, Noah's manipulative. Truthfully, I did not know about this situation until more recently. And as soon as I find out, I was done. I was done. Because I don't want to be associated with a brand like that. And I've done streaming. I've been in the content creation world since 2016. When you're a content creator, when you're a public figure, what do you have at the end of the day? Because money isn't it. You don't have money at the end of the day. You have your name, you have your
Your name
brand,
is
and you have your
everything.
thoughts. And when you destroy your name, you destroy your livelihood. Simple as that. And being who I am, being trans, I'm actually putting out a Pride merch line for June.
Oh,
Sorry, my
that's cool.
months are. Yeah, I actually have a designer who has been helping me out and finally got my own merch store up. And when you're somebody in the LGBT community and you're all about inclusiveness, spreading love, you know, creating that bond with people, I myself cannot associate with a brand that does the complete opposite.
Hmm.
So here's something a little salt for the giant gash of a wound. Um, so Candace, the person who I'm working with, that they made a special Pride case wrap design because of me. I had just come out as trans to the entire company, and they wanted to do something. So they make this Pride case for to go live. They wrapped it, printed it, designed it. Noah asked for it to be taken down.
Oh no. I have a feeling. Did he say it was like too political? Was that the? Did he even
There
have an
was no
argument?
reason. No,
He just
no
said yeah.
argument. Yeah, I can guarantee you that's why. And the same thing with the Black Lives Matter movement. Like anything that wasn't for his, what's the word I'm looking for his gain or make him look good, or basically he wanted chances for him to look good without any risk.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, that's what every CEO does, but um, it's still very frustrating to
Usually
hear.
not so blatant.
By the way, I almost missed this. It's me, Snorlax, donated $100 to the fundraiser, so I just wanted to thank you.
Bless.
That huge dono. So thank you so much for that. So,
Thank you guys so much. Like, I just want to put a personal snippet in.
sure.
As somebody who's looking, and I thankfully landed in a spot where the potential gains are very good. You know, I'm more secure than I was with some other people. But guys, there are so many employees that are worried about paying bills, getting
Hmm.
rent, eating. Um, any money is really, really much appreciated to help these people out. We got zero communication from Noah. As far as we knew, up until probably early last week, we thought everything was normal, right as rain. We'd be working for another couple weeks, getting our bills paid. Um, Up until they dropped that bombshell without warning that we are no longer in business and paychecks are not being done.
Why didn't he
So, guys,
communicate with you guys? Like, you know, like just be honest that you guys are in a shit position and this is a moment for the company to come together and
pride.
take on this challenge, right? And fix up and like and refresh things. Like, why this is such an opportunity, right? Like, I mean, I didn't run a company like that, but I mean, I've run a Discord, and even in a Discord, like
Right.
you know, you have to do that sometimes. So it's just,
Yeah.
this stuff is just kind of leadership 101. Um,
Yeah. It's awful. It really is. Hey, by the way, do you mind if I post my merch link in chat?
You are welcome to advertise whatever you want. Yeah,
Awesome.
same
Yeah,
to
I
same to all
all
of the other ex-employees. You're
yes,
welcome to
please do,
advertise your
guys.
streams. We have a link for everyone's streams as well. It
That's
is
awesome.
you can see ! support streams if you want to just give everyone a follow, because a lot of the
Yes.
ex-employees are also streamers. So
Yes, please do, guys, because the one thing is the company may be going away, but our passion for gaming, for computers, for community is not going away. Just
that's
the
why I
name.
was so addicted to the community. Like I used to,
Right. I built it.
yeah,
I
like
built it.
I would hop in all the time, especially in Twitch chat. It was one of the only streams that I would watch myself,
Yeah.
just because it was, I don't know, it was a very positive,
It's
huggy,
relaxing.
relaxing environment. It was something you could put on the side,
Yes.
and everyone was so kind and sweet, and like, and a lot of the builders were just great, and I don't
Yeah.
know, it's just
Yeah.
it's
It's
so
a real
unfortunate.
awful situation. Yeah. Just want to say with my merch as well, any purchases that are done do get a personalized video. And for today only, anybody who purchases within the next 24 hours gets a specialized Fuck Artesian video with every purchase.
Yo, we just hit our $1,000 goal.
Yo, let's go!
Billy Pixie, thank you so much for tipping $100, helping us to that goal. Holy shit!
Yo,
thank
guys, you guys are
like,
awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Keep up the solid work. I believe you said you wanted to talk to Shyphlosion next as
yeah.
well. All right, awesome. You know what? I won't take up more of your time since we just raised, what was it, $200 and the time I went
Yep.
live. Guys, you guys are beautiful. Remember, follow the streamers, follow their content, and keep up to date with them. We're not going away, just the name.
And thanks, and
So
also
thank you.
thanks for speaking up for a lot of the employees who are anxious to speak
Yeah,
up
of
right
course.
now. So I know that they really appreciate it as well.
When you're backed into a corner and got nowhere to hide, there's nothing you can do but speak.
Cool. And Fish Slayer, thank you so much for tipping $50. We're really over the line. This is amazing.
Yes, let's go. I love to see it, guys. If we can push 2K, I'll just give out a free piece of merch on my own dime. Damn it.
Oh my god, that would be so cool. All right. It was lovely meeting you, and my DMs are always open. And I wish you luck with the new company and everything.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Eris. You've been a blessing.
No
and
problem.
Enjoy the rest of your stream.
You too. Wasn't the character 4 minutes? For like 30 minutes ago? Yes. Yeah, she's grown up. She's grown up. Okay, now I am going to talk to Shot. I don't know how to pronounce your name. You're gonna have to tell me when I call you. Hello?
Hi.
Hey! How do you pronounce your name? So I don't embarrass myself. Sorry?
Hang on. Shyphlosion.
Shyphlosion. Okay, I can do that.
All right,
It's
so
easier than I thought.
you know, I'm sure a lot of people here are above the age of 20, and they know what Gen 2 Pokemon is. It's Typhlosion, but with Shy. That's that's the whole thing.
Okay, don't hate me, but I didn't watch Pokemon. I watched Digimon.
Oh, okay. Very valid show, still in its own right. I
watched Digimon only because, okay, this is before I was nerd. When I was a kid, I was a cool kid. I became like a nerd in my preteens, right, with puberty. But before then, the only reason why I watched Digimon was because I had a huge crush on the character named, I think his name was Matt or something. I don't know. He had really spiky hair. I thought he was so cool.
Respectable. I understand. I actually really didn't watch the Pokemon anime myself. I was in the games. That was where I got my love from. It was way back in like, I think before like I was like truly that deep in elementary school. That my brother got a Game Boy Color and a copy of Gold from a friend of his at the day.
Yeah.
Just handed it to me. I was like, look at the screen. I was like, what is this? What is this magical world? Hello? And here I am, like somewhere between the range of 15, 18 years later, Pokemon's still pretty much embedded into my life. It's crazy.
One of my memories of Pokemon, I was, we'll get into Artesian soon, but I just want to tell this a little tidbit. I grew up in South Africa, and when I was in there, I was there with my brother. He was just nagging my mom because he really wanted to purchase like the new Pokemon Diamond game, or I don't know, some kind of crystal thing.
Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum.
Yeah,
yep.
something like that, right?
Platinum.
I don't know, it must be like 1998 or something, I don't know. And so he purchases it, and he's so excited to go play it at home, and I'm just watching him like because it looks so cool. And
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're talking about Pokemon Crystal, like the
maybe
upgraded of Gold and Silver Gen 2.
Yeah. And so he starts playing it, and then he's like, something's wrong, right? And we just purchased it off of like the street, right? Like it was just some random vendor.
No.
And it was like a fake copy, and it was covered in like swear words and sex jokes. And he's like 6 years old. Like he's like, why are they talking about this? I don't understand.
Pain.
Yeah, I don't know who. Someone was selling them, making a fortune off of that shit in South Africa. One of the many problems in that part of the world.
Yeah.
So, anyways, let's get to our t-shirt stuff. So,
right.
So when did you work for the company?
Technically speaking, I've only been employed for like a month, maybe a month and a half. For those of you in chat that don't know, I'm Shyphlosion. I am a variety Twitch streamer. I've been doing this for 5 years myself. Basically started along the same ride as the same time frame as Ember. So I've been in this for as long as that. Lost my train of thought. Hold on.
It's okay. So you started only about a month and a half ago. How did you get that job? Like, tell me about that process.
Because I had heard about them through my good buddy, it's KB Alpha. He was an ambassador for them at the time. He's like, Shy, like, go for this company. They're great. And I'm like, okay, I'll see what's up. Oh, ambassadorship program? Applied. Hey, you're approved. I was like 2 or 3 days later or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was. But I had been an ambassador for almost a year when I got hired on. And my code changed because of my employment status, my status of the company, because I got employed, obviously speaking. You know, I was explained, you know, it's just like business, you know, don't want people double dipping and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, fine, I get it. For those of you that don't, that were a part of the ambassador program, you got a percentage of the sale for commission. That was public knowledge. They were told you will get a percentage as kickback for selling with your code and all that stuff. I don't need to worry about anything on the back end for like NDAs and shit about that. Yeah. So
how did
I could tell you what happened to the commission I got off the code after I got employed. So.
Yeah. Like, well, first of all, like, how did you go from being like an artesian ambassador to an employee? Like, so your friend just recommended you and you just got hired off the bat?
No. I've been like, you know, with the company, like I've been following them for a little bit. By the time I got hired, it was like 10, 11 months into my ambassadorship. So like the whole year I was just, you know, hanging out in chat, helping people that needed help with bills on my own time.
So like, you were part of the community.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but I was deeply putting myself into that community because I am so upset that community is basically dead now because the Artesian Builds community has been one of the most wholesome, big communities I've seen on Twitch, and it is so depressing to know that that's not even a thing anymore.
I agree. It's honestly so sad. There's going to be a huge vacuum for someone to do the same thing, I think.
It's like 200,000 plus people that just are now lost. They don't know where to go. They had a home that they felt would treat them right and have their back, and then just that happened.
So what did you end up? So what was your job title? Like, what did you do?
I was given the job title of customer service representative.
Okay.
So that, you know, back end tickets, you know, helping out with RMAs, you know, helping out with support, troubleshooting. I even told them, hey, anybody who was looking to just like get a quote on a build or like get a build for their consideration just built on the site as a set list for their consideration, I told them, send that to me. I will take care of it.
Okay.
Like I wanted
interesting that you worked in
than
customer
that.
service, because I dealt with customer service. Did you and I ever chat? I'm so bad with names because I was complaining a lot.
Maybe I think I pointed Wanty towards you actually.
Oh, okay.
In one of the tickets, but
yeah, because
if you did see me respond, I don't think I told you my first name is Cameron. So if you saw that, yeah, you definitely talked with me. That was me.
Maybe yeah. Something that I noticed, right, and I'm curious to see if this is actually true behind the scenes, and you would know this, was that when I would talk to different employees, they all had different information, and I got the vibe it was very unprofessional, right? And I wasn't mad at the employees, right? Like I was mad at I was frustrated at whatever system that was supposed to be organizing them.
Yeah.
Because like I would talk to one employee and that employee would think that my build was supposed to be meant tomorrow when I had just been I'd just been told like a few weeks ago that my build was already being postponed for a few weeks. And then like they'd all have like different total information. It seemed like no one was keeping this just like objective
concise
list of
record.
notes or something
there was,
in
like,
records.
No focus on the finding out the information, because the information was unfocused. That like I can guarantee you a lot of the time, like I would go over for the information and it's just like it's so hard to find it in the system the way it was done. It's insane. I was just like, I sifted through it because it's like, scatterbrain here. I have Asperger's syndrome, so that's fun to deal with. Definitely not helping me in my situation, I'll tell you that much. It probably is actually doing more than I'm giving it credit for. Anyways,
So what system did you guys have? So when someone complained to you and I don't know, made a ticket, how did you research? Because normally at like a company, to my knowledge, right, when you find a ticket, you look up their order number, then you see the customer profile, and you see all the notes that are on there, right? And there's notes like for everything.
Yeah, it was in a basic like text format, but essentially speaking, you would just described how the system was. Yeah.
Okay.
It's generic system. If that's what it is everywhere else, then yeah, it was pretty much there in the internals for Artesian for the orders.
So there were like notes on each individual like customer. And everything.
There
I guess
there
like
are
people
notes
just
on
didn't
each
update them.
individual order specifically, and like sometimes things would get hectic, and it's just like something's forgotten or something like that, and it just wouldn't get updated. Human error and stuff like that. So, but it was a.
Did you work for both the West Coast and the East Coast?
I'm remote.
Okay. So you work kind of in a way for both of them.
Yeah. But mainly my focus personally shifted all pretty much hard to the West. I almost never did anything for the East Coast.
Okay.
So that was kind of like a 95-5 split in terms of which one I was, working with. I still feel for the East Coast builders, because I watched them plenty of times too. And I really hope,
I mean, for them especially, they were run almost like a separate company, like, and then
they were doing the bulk of the work. They were doing the grunt work. They were the ones like for reference. For those of you that have seen the streams, you know that the West Coast is like the pretty live showcase. One builder building your PC personally for you live. Like the showman floor was on the West Coast. You went to the East Coast, it's more the nitty gritty. They're just like chatting amongst themselves about lives, their dreams.
I loved watching the East Coast. It was always just so chill. You felt like you were just hanging out in a group of friends.
Yeah,
really nice.
East Coast had a lot more of a personal flair to it, and I really liked that. I like the showmanship a lot more, and like Noah's charisma was like kind of keeping me focused, which I'll get into later about my position in all this. Because I do want to talk about that. I think you probably already know, Eris, but yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
No, I don't.
Trying to. Oh well, I'll talk about it in a minute. And I think it might ring a bell or something. I lost my train of thought again.
It's okay. I do that all the time. Like I'm supposed to be playing a game right now, and I can't multitask. I'm terrible at it.
You're good. You're good.
But So what were you gonna say before?
trying to remember. I went with my mom to get like CBD gummies. For reference, I live in Florida, in a part where it's fine.
Yeah, I'm in
so we
Canada.
can just relax.
I
took I think it was like a 100 milligram, like half a 100 milligram gummy. So it's in my system a little bit, like I feel it, but I'm just trying to. I'm so trying to.
I always
right now,
the only time I do that is when I need to clean, and because it gets me to clean really fast.
I'm doing it right now, so I'm in a happy mood. I'm not freaking out as much. I'm not like wanting to burst into tears because this stuff is so stressful.
You want to know something else that really frustrated me about Artesian Builds? Okay, and this is at my top of the list. Okay, out of everything else that people have mentioned, is I hated the bot in the chat that it deleted everything. Like sometimes, like I would say something that was so wholesome. Yeah, the auto mod. It was so strict. Dude. I think I once said friggin'. And I got like that was bad, like the most like menial things
in the chat.
Yeah, and sometimes I would spend, my friends would laugh at me because I would spend like 20 minutes just trying to reword something so I could put it in chat, and it just kept removing it every time.
His mods couldn't even like approve or deny it because if it just hits it, it doesn't post anything. We don't even see it. And like there's also the 5-second delay for chat, so everything felt like you were trying to punch through Jello with noodle arms. And when I got
it was
mod
so
status
frustrating.
after being hired, I was like, this is gonna fuck with me. This is all I already could tell this is gonna fuck with me so hard.
That's really funny. Yeah, someone really said in chat that they tried to say process and it wouldn't let them.
Yeah, that too. Like even as a moderator, I couldn't curse, obviously, but I was so used to typing in like curse words in chat. It just still fucked with me. Oh my god.
Okay, this is gonna be a crazy thing to say right now. But what were some positive things about working with Noah? Like it couldn't be all being bad. Otherwise, the company would have collapsed in like one day.
I've had worse bosses. Trust me. I worked in retail. I can tell you.
Yeah.
Noah was like kind of.
I worked at a hipster vegetarian restaurant. I get it. Like, because I had an exchange with him over a few emails, and he came off like gruff, a little condescending, but at the same time, like he was responsible, quick, and very competent. Like that's how I felt. That was like my impression. So I didn't mind him being like gruff or a little like rough around the edges because like I was getting like constant feedback. He was like fixing things for me like right away, like getting me everything. So in the end, so my experience was like more positive than negative. But it seems like when I talk to employees, and maybe, I mean, they're probably all just feeling really frustrated and taxed right now. Yeah, but it seems like the majority of what I'm hearing is just like negative responses about him completely, which I understand, but I wonder, like, I almost feel bad. Like, I mean, it couldn't have been like that terrible the entire time, because otherwise the company, you've got to at least have some, there's got to be some good. That's what I mean.
Well, again, be fair, I was only there for like a month and a half, so I only knew on the surface how things were. I didn't know how deep the wound ran.
What was the culture like within the staff?
Everybody loved each other. We were a good team.
It was really nice.
And like if people needed help and like the higher up was there, like the next person up was there to help out, they had your back. They gave a shit. They cared.
Something else that I liked about the culture from what I noticed, especially for a tech-based business, was that it didn't feel like that typical like tech bro environment. Like
it was a wholesome tech
it felt different than your typical like bro environment. Like it felt inclusive, it felt wholesome, and people were supportive and sweet,
welcoming and helpful with advice.
Yeah, and I mean,
Like,
even Noah, like when I would watch him on
thrown in there
stream,
just for the good of it. Yeah.
I thought he was funny. Like I thought he had charisma and he was enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like I think that's why a
Yeah.
lot of people were pretty shocked when they saw him humiliate that person, right? But Kia. So what was the employee's reaction?
Strawberry Moogle.
Like take me into the employee's room.
Okay,
like if that there had been a
so
staff room, right? Like when that happens.
I can tell you right now, the builder that was basically Noah's right-hand man, Alan, bless his fucking heart. I don't know how he managed to go through all that, dude. That's rough, man. No manager or higher up in a company should ever make you feel like you deserve hate or like you have to deflect hate because you know it's towards you for no reason. And
I felt so bad for Alan. I actually thought what he was doing was really smart because I said earlier on stream that if I were Noah and I just fucked up like that, the number one thing I would have done is try to separate myself from the company and try to put all the blame on me and make the company look. And so I thought him not going on stream was smart. But at the same time, I felt so bad for Alan because he had to deal with so much hate coming like your guys' way. That's tough. Like holy shit.
He is one steely motherfucker, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Like calm, collected. The dude is so like analytical. He's like always just focused into his work. He chatted. I guess it could have taken him a while to warm up, but by the time I was there, he was thinking more like a streamer. On top of being a builder, he's like, oh, look at chat every once in a while. I'll just comment here or like laugh here, because I find something pretty cool, or acknowledge it myself and just keep going. Right?
Do you know what Brad Mack is talking about in chat? He said, did you tell her yet that you and others told him those changes were a terrible idea and he did it anyway?
Yeah, like we definitely told him, dude, what the fuck are you doing? No, stop.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was very straightforward in a lot of ways. I don't think anybody really cursed about it, but it's like, no, stop. What are you doing?
Well, I totally understand him caring about metrics. Like people who got mad at Noah for caring about metrics are just, I think it's very hypocritical because all of Twitch cares about that. As toxic as it is, like everyone judges one another with their follower accounts and all of that shit. And it's a terrible toxic environment. That's a Twitch problem, not just a Noah problem. And
the culture of Twitch definitely has
within the culture, right? My bigger problem was him doing it publicly, right? So like it would make sense to me privately to be like, okay, like let's start thinking about our ambassadors. Let's start being much more intense with who we accept as ambassadors and with our system and like I don't know, something like that. But to do it publicly and not to think like, oh my god, I'm literally humiliating someone on how good they are at their job publicly. Like, why didn't that come into his mind?
I know, right? It's just like he's sitting there talking faster than his brain can think. And I'm like, Noah, please stop. Like in my chair, I was there at that stream that night as a moderator, hyping the people up, getting everybody excited about the giveaways and all that stuff. Because also another ambassador friend of mine, Braythorn, he was doing his own giveaway that night. And Noah basically just drug his name through the mud in talking about how he wants like high tier people as ambassadors. And he told me he felt so fucking bad about that. And I'm like,
oh no.
He said, Noah, what are you doing? Stop. Like he was vocal about it in chat. But Noah just wouldn't listen, man.
Mm-hmm. If I were him, like if I were to organize this, I think think that they accepted way too many people as ambassadors, right? Like the system, like from the get-go, right? But once people were accepted, it's like you can't just humiliate them. It's like you kind of made your bed. You made
your bed and look at that. Now you're sleeping in it.
Mm-hmm. So was there any support? Like, what was the environment within the staff? Like when that happened, did some staff kind of take Noah's side at the time? Or did people realize how bad this was going to be?
No, none of us could have told you how bad this was gonna get. Like from experience, I know everybody was just blindsided by everything that happened after the fact. So no, Nothing can prepare you for that kind of stuff. I don't care who you are. It's not possible to take that much shock at one moment.
I would have never guessed. Like,
yeah,
I was saying to someone, right, that like the reaction, I do think this reaction was overboard, right? Like, yeah, did he fuck up? Yeah, right. But first of all, so many people chimed in, and it did feel like a dog pile at a few points. And I remember thinking, yo, people do not react this badly when like a CEO or a streamer like rapes someone, but like, and I think we can all say what he did was objectively less bad than that. And so it's like it was kind of crazy, like the reaction. And I guess the way I figured it out logically in my brain, like the way I thought it might be, is that almost because like this whole world like is just filled with streamers, that he kind of harped on something that everyone is insecure about deep down, which is their numbers, right? And being judged for their numbers. And so it was kind of like being in an environment like like if you're in like an environment for eating disorders or something, and someone mentions someone's fat, it's like everyone's going to care much more about that, because that's like, it's everyone's sensitive about that one subject, and everyone is sensitive about their numbers. Like I'm sensitive about my numbers.
In a lot of things, yeah.
And so he kind of said out loud what like we all like fear deep down, and then our therapists tell us, no, it's not really a thing. But he said it.
We still feel like it's a real thing.
Yeah. So I'm hearing that people did in the staff did call Noah out. How did that go?
I was among the first, and I was brutal. I was straightforward and brutal. I held some punches back. I spoke in a respectful manner, but I was very straightforward and blunt with how I felt.
Did you feel like it was an environment where you felt safe saying something like that? Like being that open and honest?
I did.
I think that's a point towards Noah, right? I think that's a good thing.
Right.
That you felt like you could actually voice that criticism.
Very open and transparent, like at the base level, at the like surface level, about how he felt about employee communication. He doesn't want to hold people back.
That's good.
Yeah,
see, like, again, I don't want to just point blatantly just be like, oh, like Noah's pure evil and that's like the cause of this, right? Because I feel like the situation's got to be more complex than just like one person being like
absolutely,
evil, right? So obviously, like, he had some positives in how he ran it, and the fact that there were people who were felt safe and comfortable voicing their criticisms. I think that's a positive thing. It really seemed like the impression that I'm getting is he really needed a right hand man, woman, someone, like someone, like someone that was much more good at like social and organizing and things like that.
That was Nick. Nick.
Who's Nick?
I was told he was the COO for like from the beginning with Noah, and then I heard like before even the person who got me who was out with me mostly, Tenchi, the big basically the big head honcho mod in chat for Artesian, who did all the like the intake and all that stuff live on stream, basically on his own. Oh, fucking bless his heart, dude. Sorry, just lost my train of thought again.
It's okay. It happens to be like a billion times a day, so you don't have to worry. So Tenchi, the Tenchi also like helped out a lot.
Yes.
It was like Tenchi's like always like this incredible professional, right? So whenever I was talking to him, I'd be like complaining to him, like he had to deal with me, the annoying customer the most, right? Because I would be like just annoying him constantly about my build, and he was trying to be professional. I mean, it's shitty, like an employee. You never want to shit on like, the company that you work for and stuff. It's just not professional.
No.
So he was trying to be chill about it, and do what he can without like blaming his company, and but like. So tell me about like Nick. So Nick, I think I saw Nick a few times on stream. He was a builder, right?
No, he was the CEO. He did all the stuff on the East Coast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was basically, Noah was in charge West Coast, Nick was in charge East Coast.
Okay, so what happened to Nick?
he quit a couple months before I got hired. Like
So
probably
he quit in
shortly
October,
after 10 she
November.
got hired, or shortly before after 10 she got hired.
Do you know what happened there?
He just quit. His wife was having complications. They made a decision, decided that him leaving to focus on their health and whatever was the best. And just
So yeah, it was just a personal
It wasn't
decision.
the only reason. It wasn't the only reason because Noah was probably rude to even him, and I bet you he was probably the one that feels the worst about all of this because
he like probably really cared about the company. So, do you know?
as far as I know, I'm fairly certain he started it with Noah.
Do you think that Noah was aware of how he came off sometimes when he talked to people?
Absolutely not. Completely oblivious to himself. I was told by many of the employees, and even some people in chat were like kind of guessing at it. It's like, is he egotistical? And the employees telling him like, yeah, he's pretty egotistical. And I'm like, oh,
Well,
I'll still give him a shot.
You have to
That's
be a
fine.
little bit egotistical to just stream on Twitch. I feel I 100% stand by that. Just to be able to survive, you have to have a little bit of an ego. But so I'm not surprised he's egotistical, but I feel like people could still be egotistical and still like aware that maybe they're really good at one thing, but they're not good at something else.
Yeah, and what he wasn't good at was realizing when he was wrong.
Oh, that's a really bad one. That's a really bad one to not be good at.
As you know, somebody as a black guy in America, I can tell you that was whooped out of me at a very early age. Oh boy.
When my experience, I only spoke with him in like this brief amount of time, but my experience and when I was talking with him was, again, I viewed our overall interaction as a really positive way because, again, when I talked to other employees, I was getting such mixed information. And so it was like a relief to just get to the source and get him to fix the issue and finally just like have it done. And he seemed incredibly competent. Like he knew exactly what to do and all that. But he did make me feel, it's funny when my friend read the email, because I have a bias towards just liking everyone. You know, it's really bad. And so I was like, this guy's great. And then my friend read the email. They're like, this guy's a dick. And I was like, what do you mean? And it's like, oh, he's blaming you for the whole thing, right? When you came to them, the only reason, like, you paid them $1,000 extra than you normally would have if you built it yourself, because they're the experts. And he's blaming you for not having expertise. And I was like, fuck. Mm-hmm. He kind of was, right? Like he kind of like, because I wanted a small form factor, and so he was like blaming me for wanting all these things in a small form factor that wasn't realistic. And it's like, I didn't know it wasn't realistic, right? Like no one told me, right? Like I went to him for
given prior warning. You came to him for advice, and he just kind of brushed you off and said, "You're an idiot." And that was his general demeanor towards a lot of people and how they felt about certain things. Mm-hmm. Like he was pretty defensive of Elon Musk, like. I'll keep it a buck.
Oh, that's a warning sign. That's a red flag, right?
Yeah, my personal opinion of Elon is the dude's fucking weird, but in one of the most charming ways possible that doesn't feel disingenuous, and just like he's doing so much good. Well, there's a lot of bad, there's a lot of trolling and stuff, but like he's doing a lot of the good. Mm-hmm. So my personal opinion about the dude is he was fine, you know, running a business, you know, controversy here and there. We all have those sometimes, you know, it is what it is. So,
So overall, can I ask what's the situation that you're in right now? Like, do you have another job offer lined up?
I know I could go back to my old company at Winn-Dixie down the road, and they'd welcome me back with open arms. It would pay me less. I was making 11 there, made 14 Artesian, going back down $3 an hour.
That's gonna suck.
But, yeah. But
so overall, this is pretty shitty news for you.
All else fails. For the moment, things are fine financially because my community really came through for me the past couple streams during all this fiasco. Just holy shit. I don't know
So
where I'd be without them.
but I know that there's some employees that are just not in, like, they're not going to be fine, right?
Yeah.
And so it was one of the main reasons that we're doing this fundraiser, hoping.
Which
Yeah,
I appreciate.
no problem.
I hope to the gods that people that just get the support and love and everything they deserve to get through this rough time.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because we have people in chat, like Anwar is saying, I think Anwar was the editor, right? And I think he's realizing, I'm pretty sure his pronouns are he. No, I'm not sure. But
Yeah, I'm fairly certain Anwar is a guy.
but I'm from what I remember, yeah, so it seems like he was getting paid way less than other people.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons why I just wish we had an environment. I mean, when I worked mostly in academia where people's salaries are very public knowledge, and because it's like government funded, and and all of that kind of stuff. But in the tech world, and especially in a world like this, it's like your contract is just so flimsy. Like what you're getting paid, it just totally depends. And I have a feeling that there are people who are probably being paid crazy much higher amounts, and some people who were just doing like all the work and still being underpaid. And I just wish people would be more open about their salaries. Like this whole culture about being private about your salaries, it's like
bullshit.
Yeah, and I mean it just benefits
the
the CEO.
employer, and it just benefits the higher ups that can use that culture of fear around it against you and exploit your like innermost fears about not having a job. Which
Well, Shyphlosion, I pronounced it right. Did I get it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I think so.
Thanks so much for coming on. If you do you want to tell us just briefly about your stream, and feel free to post a link in chat.
All right. So again, I'm just a variety streamer. My main shtick, Destiny 2, obviously speaking. A lot of the people I know are through that community, as well as Dead by Daylight, which was a game I played pretty constantly. I'm sorry, I'm just losing focus right now. I'm gonna go lay down after this.
But yeah, feel free to put your stream in chat as well.
There we go.
Cool.
Right there.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah.
And I think it's brave of you to talk about this. I know it's like an awkward time for everyone, and I hope you figure shit out and you find a job that pays you what you're worth and stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. It was nice meeting you.
Yes, ma'am. You guys have a fun one. Wow.
Cool. They were super nice.